Everybody, and welcome back to Superman Crypto, and of course your host Superman in the house. Man, we're gonna have a great update today on Zen. I hope you guys look forward to it. Now we'll be doing a video later on today, also on probably Bitcoin inscriptions. So stay tuned for that. The NFT of Bitcoin. We're going to talk about those because there's really ramping up there too. So let's get into it, folks. Welcome. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button on the way in. If you love Zen, then get into it because obviously it's booming. And pretty excited about the really different sort of roadmap to value. We're going to be watching it over the next year and beyond. So it's going to be fun. All right, let's get into it. We've got the Zen price. Obviously, I've been talking about that moving to the upside, and we definitely got our break to the upside. On the back of this, of course, we've also got Bitcoin over 30K, moving up higher. And, of course, we've got Ethereum over 2,000 with the successful Shapella upgrade, Shanghai fork, which is really cool with ETH withdrawals for validators. So we've got a positive context. We've also got a good window of opportunity in the markets until the Fed Reserve in about a couple of weeks' time, probably doing its final terminal rate, and of course lower inflation at 5% for US. So everything is looking really good, isn't it? So in that context, Zen is going beautifully, and we got our move to the upside. So very nice. We got down, if you remember, on the daily. So that's the hourly, just pumping up there on the hourly. But on the daily, if you remember, we really bounced off the sort of 2860 mark is kind of where we bounced off, and we got some support at 3,300. That's with 5 zeros, and then we pumped up here pretty strongly. Closed yesterday really strong at 4495, currently at 4483, and with a high so far of 4551. So beautiful. We got our breakup. Obviously, we had a really low week of mints and between 36 and 51 billion a day over the last 5 days. The day's mint was actually the lowest. It's just come out. We'll talk about that in a second. So that's bullish too from the supply side. And obviously we also have staking, so that's another source of Zen, either mints or staking. So we'll talk about that too. But bullish, right? Bullish. Let's have a look at the summary of the top trading pair. The other thing is that we actually hit over 2 million in liquidity just earlier before the live stream. It's at 1.9 million at the moment. So amazing, right? The value's just gone up so good. Up 32.19% over the last 24 hours. So there we are, folks. We got our price breakout. Very exciting indeed. Now we've got the buys here at 59% of the trades are buys for 356 trades. It's pretty good too. 59% of the buys with the volume at 60%, $1.5 million over $1 million, looking very nice indeed on the Zen wrapped ETH pair on V3. So awesome, the top pair there. So super bullish, as you can see on the daily. Very exciting indeed. So let's get into some of the reasons why this is moving so good. Let's have a look at the supply numbers. Here we are on Zen Turbo. Remember all the links in the video description so you can jump to those yourself. We've got liquid here at 8,746 billion. So this has pretty much hit my first target. If you remember, it was 6,750. We hit it yesterday as well. So there is volume is fluctuating. I'm expecting this to go down, assuming staked Zen stays pretty similar. Then we should see this go down as well. Particularly, we may see it go down for two reasons. The first, of course, we just had a low day come out. We're going to go down to the mints that are coming out. So let's go all the way down. We're going to move around a little bit here. Let's go 30 days. So remember the week that we just had, the one that just came out just now, we've had a 37 billion. So very low Zen coming out, and that should show up as people go to claim that. So it's pretty low. And that means a low day today. So that's the first factor that may help the supply to go down further in terms of liquid Zen. The second factor, of course, is that over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we typically have low Gwei. And so low Gwei over the weekend should help with the new supply, these bigger candles. So we're moving into the weekend candles with 80 billion and 108 billion or 109 billion here on the 15th and 16th. So that would be lower Gwei. So that even though they're bigger candles, they're still relatively small compared to some of the high candles that are coming up in the future. And we have been burning a lot more Zen than that. So that's kind of cool, generally speaking, on most days. So bullish. And potentially we have lower Gwei during that time, even though the market is kind of rallying for ETH. We have lower Gwei. So obviously that's offset with the US dollar price of ETH, but certainly the Gwei potentially could be lower over the weekend, and we may see a lot of burning through DBZN there as well. So those are kind of two key factors that we should be watching for. Obviously, we're playing probability here. Nothing is certain, but we're playing probability of what was driving these liquid supply and potentially going to help drive the price. It's not inevitable, of course. Sometimes you can have large whales selling or all sorts of stuff going on there that can change the path of the price for at least for a short period of time. So that is the Zen supply. Now at stake there, we're pretty stable, right? We've been pretty stable around this mark, 1.5 trillion plus 40 billion or so. We've been pretty stable over that the last 3 or 4 days. It's got down close to 1.5. It's got up to about 1.55. But we've pretty much been pretty stable at the staking. I would like to see that number go up over time. Obviously, there's an 18% APY at the moment. It goes down 1% every 90 days. Remember that. And that would also reduce the liquid supply. So if we had burning and staking, that would reduce the liquid supply. But always remember that when stakes do come out, they go back into the liquid supply. So it changes things around. There's more basic liquid hex around. Sorry, liquid Zen around. And that may flow into the liquidity pool. So you can see on this liquidity pool, at the moment, there is 167 billion Zen in the actual top trading pair here at the moment. So just remember that. So you can see what I'm talking about there. All right, let's have a look at some of the other numbers. Let's go down to the actual burning at the moment on the daily. So we had the supply change. Yesterday, remember the last couple of days, we had some spectacular days, down 146 billion. On the 11th, on the 12th, we had down 115 billion. Today, we're actually up slightly, it says 6.6 billion, which is a little surprise. But the burning was lower yesterday through DBZN, dramatically so. So the net burning was 72 billion on this different chart for 13th. New state was down 17 billion as well. So we had stakes coming out. So that was down, adding to the supply. So yeah, new liquidity added 6.1 on there at the moment. We had a relatively low candle coming out as well. So I think that might be included. That's missing a day. So it's the 13th. I think the next day coming out here is the 15th. So missing the 14th. We'll wait for the 14th to come out. But like I say, the 14th has a very low mint, 37 billion. So we could see some exciting stuff here, particularly if the burn starts to go up and the staking goes up too. So if we have all those three heading in the right direction, could be a very good reduction in liquidity from those three sources. Let's have a look at the distribution. So as obviously more Zen grows, the ecosystem's got more around, obviously getting burned as well. We have the liquidity going down. So it's dropped a little bit, I think. I think it was 61.8. Now it's 61.66% as the total liquid. We've got the penalties, people forgetting to mint it all together is at 2.37%. And then we've got the burns at 3,561 billion. So 25.11% is burned so far. Beautiful. And of course, we've got stakes sitting at 10.86% there. 1.54 trillion. Now, the cool thing is, of course, 60%, we're about to head towards that. That's great. And definitely people are talking about 50% now. So once we get that 60%, which I think is coming, we will have a good chance of, try and target that 50%. It's going to be a little bit harder in some senses, but we've got more protocol coming out. We're going to talk about that with Zen Knights, and then followed quickly after, I think, not too far after, the Moon Party burns for the layer 1 chain where you get XN tokens, so for the layer 1 fee burning token. So we're going to look at that. In terms of total mined at the moment, 82.4 trillion Zen is expected in the future, but remember about 2.4% is probably not going to even get mined, and so they've got to take that off this amount as well. Let's have a look at that's the next 30 days ahead of us. As you can see, it's pretty low minting, relatively speaking. The weekends are a bit higher. We've got a couple of higher weekends. So this weekend is 80 and 108 billion. Next weekend is 83 and 112 billion. But look in the week, during the week, very low, 50, 40, 40, 45, and 44. So if we get days through DBZN that are burning 100 million or more, or 80 billion or 100 billion or more, then you can see, apart from staking, this would reduce the supply dramatically. If we get low Gwei over the weekend, then that there might get eaten through as well. As one of the odd properties is that as we get more mints, maybe more mints gets, because there's more mint around, Zen around, we get there's more to burn through the protocols like Zen NFTs, DBZN, and of course future protocols like the Zen. What's going to be one off, but the Zen Nights coming up on Monday is expected. So that's kind of cool, looking pretty good through at least through the next 9 days, maybe 11, 12 days actually, right through to the following week actually. So right through to 27th, certainly looking pretty good. And then if we can also, then we've got some bigger ones in the weekends, in the third weekend ahead of us. So just keep a tab of this 30 days, very important. It gives you a good gauge on that. So that's some of the cool stuff with the supply numbers. Very, very bullish. Oh, well, last thing we'll look at is obviously the famous chart now. It's turning very famous, is the upwards look of this. So we go to all on this since the beginning of the end. Look at that. Oh, parabolic. Parabolic in here, almost it looks exponential at the top range. So exponential, a bit steeper there. And look at that. That's on the burn. That red line is the burn, burn, burn. That's what we love. The staking is going up as well. And I'd like to see this continue also. And the burn is, like I say, around 2.4%. So looking good on that chart. Very promising. So a quick look at the new mints as well that people have been making over the last 24 hours. We're up to 10,669,000 on the global rank for Ethereum. And the new mints over the last 24 hours, 20,422, which is not too bad. Not too bad on that. People minting there. The Gwei is pretty high at the moment, as you can see, but pretty cool. So one of the top strategies, in fact, I think the best strategy is if you're doing a lot of long-term mints, you can balloon out all these mints in the future. But the way to benefit from all the protocols launching over the next year is to have a minting ladder. So you do maybe 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, just as long as you can see that it's profitable. Some of them may not end up being totally profitable, depending on what's protocols out, what the burning's like at the time. But that definitely seems to be paying off at the moment. And of course, I've mentioned that in previous videos. So maybe a 60-day, 90-day to get enough Zen here. And of course, you can just change that around by just changing the term. Maybe you do 90 days. And maybe the Gwei is only 20 Gwei when you do it. Gwei is going up, right? ETH is going up, so just take that into account. That would leave you in profit based on that at $12. And if you went down to 60 days, you might get in $4.20 at that profit. So depending on your Gwei, the lower Gwei, remember, is very important as well. So that's some of the things, food for thought. So maybe having a minting ladder. And then big balloon payments, and you can decide what your minting ladder is going to be. Is it going to be 10, 20% of your total mints that you decide? Obviously, it's less cost effective, but maybe you get that price, the parabolic price rises, you get the benefit from that. Food for thought there. Obviously, it's not as cheap as the early minters back last year, December, November, all that sort of stuff, because they got to do batch minting, straight away, which is the best way. You get to do a lot of wallets at once, and plus the Gwei was pretty low and Ethereum was pretty low. So they've got mints still coming out over the next year. Just take that into account. But from your point of view, if you're trying to, benefit from some of the parabolic prices, it's certainly something food for thought. And trying to get as low Gwei as possible to do that. Typically, the weekends is probably the best way to go. But just remember that they did have a competitive advantage at the beginning there. So cool. That is some of the strategy there. I thought I'd just touch on that. DBZN, let's have a look at the price. It is at $54. And this is currently holding around the $54 mark. I'm not sure if it's going to hold there that long. People might be accumulating this for the weekend burn, to burn DBZN for the Xlon. We'll see what happens here. So still early days, but yeah, nice little pullback there. Potentially good to pick up on that. So yeah, low Gwei for DBZN. Low Gwei is the best way to go. Now let's have a look at the DBZN dashboard. Let's do a refresh because you have to refresh this pretty quickly. I hope you guys have been enjoying the timestamps. Been putting timestamps just to help you jump to sections if you like certain sections. The DBZN burn at the moment on the current cycle is 7.5 billion. We've got 12 hours and 50 minutes to go. And maybe if the Gwei is lower over the weekend, we might get some resurgence in the burn here. Let's have a look at the burn yesterday. So yesterday dropped down to 78.2 billion. So we were sitting right up here for 5 days. We're relatively lower Gwei, I think, and of course the ETH price was cheaper. We were sitting at 141 billion, and then we dropped down to 78 billion yesterday. So that's why we also saw that in the supply numbers, right? That's why we had sort of a net addition of 6 billion. And today we're starting at 7.5. Long way to go though, 13 hours. And of course you got the whales competing. So the whales on the leaderboard here, some of them are competing to keep their percentages up. It doesn't mean that they're going to go on all the time, but maybe every so often they do, depending on how much powder they've got. And that's food for thought. At the moment, the top burners are only 1.2 billion, 1.2, so pretty small at the moment. Typically, we get 5 billion and 10 billion plus burners at the top of the leaderboard. So at the moment, they're getting a pretty awesome return on DXN based on the current price, which is even down $55. and they've got lower prices here. Now, what Gwei have they entered on? 22 Gwei, 23, 24 seems to be, the lower the Gwei, the better, right? Because you're going to have a cheaper transaction cost. So that's what you want to do. So if you can get a low Gwei on a down day, so like a down day that's lower than these days, you're going to get a lot more DXN, and it's going to be potentially a lot more valuable for you if you believe in DBZN, and we get these sort of up and downs and DBZN mints. It's going to be interesting. So that's kind of cool for that. Let's have a look at the total amount that's gone so far. We've had almost 1.8 trillion Zen burn through. We may hit 2 trillion by the weekend, in the Sunday, say. We've had 1,541 ETH there, and we hit over 3.1 million US dollars has gone into the ETH side of the protocol. So these are the two things that go into the protocol. Pretty awesome there. We've had 1,964 minters in total. We've got 81 minters in the current cycle, and the DBZN rewards to date is 215,000, which is pretty cool. So jumping to Exelon is burning DXN as well, so it helps to keep the DXN price up also, and that is currently at 4,600. Had a bit of a red day yesterday, got down to 3,845, but is up today 4,600. So that's kind of cool there. On the Exelon is the meme coin, and it does burn DBZN. Let's see how much it's burnt so far. Well, we can see here it's burnt 12.37% of all the DXN, which is 215,000 DXN so far. Remember, there's only going to be 5 million DXN less the burn. So pretty good. This is helping do that as well. All right, Exelon is the first principles meme coin. That's their branding. So just take that into account also. Now, the gas prices, of course, have been lower. This is the gas prices here last wee while. And you can see we had a bit of a spike up to 43, but it has been down low 22, 23. And, of course, we saw that people getting into DXN on the current cycle have been getting in that low end. That seems to be the price at the moment. But is the weekend going to be a lot cheaper? Typically it is. And so people are definitely looking out for that. So keep watching the Gwei pretty tightly. Obviously, cheap Gwei on a low DBZN mint day. If you can get a low mint with low Gwei, then you're going to get a lot of supply. But that in itself should attract whales. So we'll see how you get on there. But that's definitely, if you get more DXN that way, I think that's going to be pretty cool. We're only on day 22. It's pretty neat. And so far, so good, right, in this protocol. So very cool on that one. Now, not financial advice, of course, do your own due diligence. That's just the way it goes. You can have got two strategies. You can play Zen as the medium of exchange, or you can play in the protocols, or you can do both, right? So it's up to you what you do with that. Let's get into the news, though. We're coming up to 18 minutes. So some news here from Jack. Let's go. Of course, Zen Nights is launching on a Monday. It is expected launch time. So stay tuned for that. You'll need a Bitcoin wallet, and you'll be able to participate in bidding on those Zen Nights. So they're NFTs or Bitcoin inscriptions. I'm going to be coming a video on that later today. So stay tuned for that. And they're doing Zen Nights done 100, and I think they're in the 300,000 range. Now there's well over 1 million Bitcoin inscriptions now. They're kind of like the NFTs. They're tied to Satoshis on the Bitcoin chain. Potentially there could be 100 million times 100 million of them. So we'll see. So early, they're pretty early. And of course, they've got great artwork from the community members. So nice on that one. So that's coming up on Monday. More burning of Zen. And we're going to be interested to see how they go. There's 100 of them. What will they go for? It's going to be fun to see. Now, the other things Jack's been putting out, DBZN is very similar to Bitcoin. It has difficulty through an auction and protocol fees. It pays Zen burners with a mint of DXN who would be considered miners. These are passed on to miner stakers by the protocol, finding less than 5 million cat supply, as I said, plus the Exelon burn, right? So pretty cool on that. What else we got going there? Those Exterians NFTs. So this is the other thing. We talk about DBZN a lot, but obviously people are burning through the NFTs as well, but it's a much smaller amount, relatively speaking, after the X unicorns. But they're going to continue to burn as more mints come to market. Zen NFTs are hot. 6 days ago, an owner minted them for 0.4 ETH. Today they're sold for 0.8 ETH, 100% gain in 6 days. No one even touched Zen during those transactions, which is pretty cool on some of these. So they have been doing pretty well with the market going up there. Cool. This is just showing some of the returns on different chains of Zen, because obviously Zen's on 10 chains and about to have Bitcoin inscriptions to launch. So that's pretty cool. Choose your chain. Yeah, it's going pretty well. Now, some people have talked about Polygon and BSC. and there may be a value to tap into there, but obviously ETH is the main value chain. So definitely check out some of the chains. I think Avalanche is the only one that's still got a 7.5%. Yeah, so you might check that out. It'd be interesting to see. Now this is a really good teaser, right? So now we got the Zen Nights launching on Monday, more burn, and of course cool NFTs, Bitcoin inscriptions. But we also got this teaser 10 hours ago from Jack Levin. What is DBZen stakes with tradable NFTs? Obviously, that's worked pretty well for Zen. So that could be another bullish environment there for DBZen. So stay tuned for that, just adding on the layers. Remember, people that burn for DXN, they also get credits for the X1 chain and XN, and that's awesome. So that's coming up later this year as well. The NX token is going to be launched before the main chain, the actual fee token. So it's going to be a pretty big deal there. So people are burning not just for the rewards now, DXN and ETH, but also they get credits for the XN layer 1 chain. So pretty exciting, pretty exciting. Now, Jack Levin says we have first Ethereum wallet to reach 1 million USDC. So that's kind of a milestone too. And congratulations to them. There's an awesome milestone. Will be great to see someone holding as much value in Zen NFTs, DXN, and XLON soon, obviously, as things value up. So exciting there. Cool little video here on, was it Bitcoin Benny, I think, or somebody like that. So that was a cool interview. Check that out if you haven't. What else? We've got Joseph here with the Zen Pub. There's an update to this website. Monitor gas prices on all Zen supported blockchains with ease. So we talked about that being one of the fundamentals. You can monitor that on the dashboard. In fact, I don't know if I've looked at that on there. There's a Zen burn dashboard if you want to see the burn in more detail. But he's added some gas burn. There's a gas monitor right there. So this is be quite useful if you're looking at going in, getting a good deal. And kind of neat on that. So you can select your chain up here and have a look at the burn at the gas price on there at the moment. It's pretty high at the moment, 35 or so. So the weekend might be a real boom to do some more mints there. All right, so that's kind of cool. Stay ahead of the game and optimize your Zen minting and DBZen transactions. Very, very cool. I like that. So I'm going to retweet that. All right, what else we got going? Burned some Zen last night. It felt good. So that is Jack Levin burning some Zen. And looks like he's got this face on the rock, which is pretty funny. Zen bull mark dance. Obviously, this is the great bull mark dance here. And you can see it's pretty funny. Makes me laugh. And everything's on bull market for Zen. Pretty cool. Nice. So I'm going to jump through some of that. I think that's kind of some of the highlights. 1 hour ago, Jack says it's entirely possible people are stacking on Zen to burn it for DXN over the weekend. I talked about that theme. We may see some with the lower Gwei, people picking up a lot of Zen and burning it over the weekend. So this bull run continues, it may seem. So looking pretty optimistic. Jack Levin, the only way to arbitrage DXN auction is to market buy. So that's important too as well. So we talked about the DXN price here. So maybe that will get picked up also. Obviously, nothing in financial advice. I hope you guys enjoyed this awesome update. Man, oh man, has it played out pretty well? It has played out pretty well. This is DBZen at the moment. Sorry, this is Zen at the moment. 4,485. I'm just breaking out to the upside. Very, very exciting. And the weekend may be really, really cool too, with lower gas and some more burning. I hope you like it. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Take care, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. I'll leave any comments. I really like the comments. Get any comments, and I'll respond to those, particularly if they're constructive, and get in there. If you want to join the channel, hit the join button. I've got a ton of memberships in there that you can help support the channel as we grow into covering not only Zen, but a lot of other protocols as well. I was going to say subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'll see you tomorrow. And bye for now. Stay tuned for the Bitcoin's inscription video. It's coming later on.